Hi guys, you're welcome to my channel once again. My name is Truth, and today we'll be making this very beautiful collar, and you can see it has this elongated tip. And as you're seeing this collar, it's giving, and at the same time here I had attached the tie that I made with the dress to this collar. So if this is something you would love to learn, please stay tuned. And if you would love me to drop tutorial on how I made the tie also, you can drop your comments in the comment section. I'm going to respond. Okay, let's dive into the class right now and let's educate ourselves. TiivRamirez Wear Citadel. First, I want to cut out the collar. And to cut out this collar, the measurement you'll be needing is your neck circumference. And you get this after you might have joined your front piece and your back piece together at the shoulder line. And when you're measuring for this particular neck circumference, you're going to leave the zipper allowance measurements that you had. You're going to leave it aside. That is, for example, if your original neck width stop here and you have this side as your extra zipper allowance, you're not going to start your measurements from this, or if you start measuring from the center front, you're not extending your measurement to this side. So let's assume now that this is where your original neckline stops on your dress, that is on your fabric. After you have joined the center front and the back piece together, you're starting from where your exact neck circumference started from. So from there you're going to measure down to your center front, and whatever you get is what you're going to use to cut out your collar piece for your dress. Don't just cut out the collar piece without you measuring it on your fabric before you proceed to your table for cutting your collar. And now for my own collar, I have 15 inches after I measured round. So to my 15 inches now, I'm going to add 2 inches to it. To this you can actually add either 1 or 2 inches. 2 inches at most, and at least you add 1 inch. So for me, I'm going to add 2 inches to my 15 inches, and that will be giving me 17 inches. So that 17 inches now, I'm going to divide this by 2. Whatever I get here is what I'm going to be putting on my pattern paper. And right here I have 8.5. And as you can see that I already have my pattern paper on fold. So while cutting yours, make sure you have folded your pattern paper, and when you're taking your measurements, you're starting from this folded part. Don't take your measurements from the opening part of your pattern paper. You start the measurements from the folded part right here. So right here now, I'm going to start my measurements, and I will input my 8.5 inches to the side like this. Just follow what I am doing. You're going to understand perfectly, okay? I have added what I have here. That is my 8.5 inches. And again, I'm going to the upper side to confirm my measurement for me to have accurate placement. Understood? And for this particular collar, we're going to have collar stand, okay? So I will be drafting both the collar stand and the collar together on this pattern paper. I want to confirm the length before I proceed to mark. So this place now will be serving as the base of my collar, and this is where I'll be taking my collar stand measurements from. And now to measure your collar stand, you can use 1.5 inch, you can use 1 inch. It depends on you, but to me 1.5 inch to 1.25 inch fits very well. So I'll be using just 1.25 inch. I'm not using 1.5 and I'm not using 1 inch. I'm using 1.25 inch for my collar stand, okay? So I will mark it at this my center fold right here, and I will go to where I have my 8.5. I will mark it also there as well, and on that part I'm going to just rule it out straight like this. I love detailing whatever I'm doing, so because of that I would just love to highlight this. So this is our collar stand, okay? So now at the back of this collar area, I am going to go up on this particular collar stand, not here again, not the base, but here. I will just go up by 3.5 inches because I want to make the collar length 5 inches. So the back will be 1.5 inches shorter than the front elongation, okay? So now to this other side, which will be serving as my front part, I'm going to go up by 5 inches right here. Remember that at the folded area, I came up by 3.5 inches, while at the center front area I came up by 5 inches. Okay, so I'm going to reconfirm my 8.5, which happens to be my neck circumference plus 2 inches at the side. So after reconfirming that, I am going to bring this now from this 5 inches to this 3.5 inches that I have here. I am going to connect this with my slight curve. So I'm not going to just slant this in, but I will be having a slight curve here. It is not that curvy, but a bit curved. Okay, so this is what I have now. After taking this measurement, don't forget to join what you have here together, that is the base and also your collar stand at the top, that is the 1.25 inch we came up by. I'm just going to connect this like so. I believe you can see that. So now at this center here, that is at the back part, I'm going to go in by 1 inch, meaning that my collar will not extend, that is the exact collar will not extend to the end of my collar stand, and I will just connect it up. You can reconfirm it at that point too. Just go in by your 1 inch, then mark it and then connect down to your collar stand. Okay, so right here I need the collar to be a bit extended than the collar stand. You know, if I should mark it down here, I am having the exact shape with the collar stand, but I don't want it like that. If you like, you can come out here by 0.5 inch, and if you like, you can come out by 2, by 3, depends on you. But as for me, let me just confirm what I have here first. I would love to use 2, but if what I have is not up to that, I will manage. So here what I have is not up to that. What I have here is around 1.75. I will just go with what I have here. Okay, I would have used 2 initially, at this point it's up to that, but since it's not up to that, I can still work with this. So for yours, you can choose to extend this by 0.5 or 2 inches or by 1, whatever it is. So this is what I'm extending my by. So the first thing I'm going to do here is to reconnect what I have here to this. So after reconnecting, you can see that my curve here is not even any longer. I will bring in my curve rule again and retake that curve measurement. Okay, now this is it. We're going to ignore this now. You can actually extend this before you blend it into this 3.5 or whatever it is you came up by at your center back. All right, so from this extension now, I am going to bring it down to this place, and this brings us to the end of the drafting. Let me label this also collar itself. This is the collar. So here minus 1 inch. At the side we came up by 3.5, that is at the center back 3.5 inch. At the center front we came up by 5 inches. You can decide to extend this as long as you desire. Okay, but this is my own preference. That's why I'm using 3.5 at the center back, while I use 5 inches at the center front. If you like, you can make it 6 inches, 7, depends on how exaggerated or how dramatic you want it to be. Understood? So this is the 3.5 inches and also the 1 inch we subtracted at our collar back, and at the same time the 1.25 that I used as my collar stand, and then I came down here with my curve rule. Those are the things I did, and from the extension I connected it back to my collar stand right here. So the only thing I'm going to do before we cut this out is just to highlight for clarification. Okay, so that's what I have right here, and the next thing I'm going to do is just to bring in my scissors and cut out. Finally, this is what we have right here, and this is our collar stand here, and then our collar. By the time we're ready to join this together, this is how this is going to be. Okay, I believe we can see this. So the next thing I'm going to do now is to bring in our fabric and transfer this
So right now I had gone ahead to transfer my pattern on the fabric, and for the collar stand I added is 0.25 because my fabric was not enough, but to the collar I added is 0.5 on both sides at the edge and at the down part, and I cut 4 pieces for that, while I cut 2 pieces for the collar stand. And here I used my collar stay as interfacing. You can use a stay, you can use paper stay, based on your preference. Okay, so I've interfused my interface on the lining piece of this particular collar, why I did not add anything to the original piece of this collar. The reason is that the collar stay is thick enough, so I don't want it to be too bulky. That's why I did not add anything on my own right piece of the collar. And for the collar stand, I only infused on one part of the collar stand also. And now I will be moving to join everything we have here together. And how am I going to do that? I will just bring one of this interface and
The right side facing the right side like this, as you can see. So this is the top part of my collar. I'm going to stitch from this elongated tip down to this side like this, and then I'm going to sew the center front as well. And after doing that, I will do the same thing also on the second piece. So after sewing everything around, that is these 3 corners like this, I'm going to top stitch. So after stop stitching, then I will move to my collar stand and also do the same thing on my collar stand. So whatever you had on your fabric when you're cutting out your pattern is what you are going to take out exactly. So now on the original collar I added 0.5. So by the time I will be sewing this round like this, I'm going to take away the exact 0.5 that I added, while I'm going to take 0.25 away here because I added 0.25 to this.
so sorry guys, I didn't know that my camera stopped recording here. So what I did after sewing everything together, I just came back to my table here, and then I tried to place my collar on the collar stand, and I placed it directly on the one that I had interface. And you can see right here, if you can zoom this, you will see that the tip of the 2 collar is very close to each other based on that arrangement, but never overlapping. So when you are arranging yours, please make sure that the tips are very close together without them overlapping each other. Okay, it must not overlap, because if it overlaps, by the time you're done sewing, you're going to have issue. You yourself, you will not love it. So make sure it is sitting well like this, very close to each other but not overlapping. And then I bring the second collar stand piece, and then I place it on it, and then I pin it at the 2 sides to take it to my sewing machine, and then sew everything all off. And while sewing this, I will just be sewing by my 0.25 that I added for my sewing allowance. So after doing that, I will bring it back to us to see what we have right here. Okay, so I had gone ahead to join everything together, and you can see what we have here. The next thing I'm trying to do here is just to trim everything off. So I'll be trimming it very little, and after trimming off, I took it back to my sewing machine, and then I top stitch. And after top stitching, here is it, and I had gone ahead to press it very well with my iron, and this is what we have right here, sitting beautifully on the table. I'll be taking this to the mannequin now to see how it looks. So this is what we have here right now. And if you have watched this stage and you haven't even subscribed, what are you still waiting for? Please subscribe. And is there anything you want me to be teaching next? Kindly drop it in the comment section. And if there's any question you want to ask pertaining to this class, drop it. And if you want me to drop the Thai tutorial, so let me know in the comment section. Okay.